this is Mika.
I'm Victoria.
And this is A Word at the Table. Today we have a guest joining us, my sister Rebecca.
And Nyla.
And my daughter Nyla.
Hey, we got brand new mamas at the table with the babies.
Yes. Baby Mike is sleeping. Rebecca's a mom too, but
yes,
her baby's sleeping.
So Nyla's how old?
Nyla is now 7 months.
7.
And aw, is she crawling yet?
She crawls, yes. So she says mama. Say mama. Of course, she's not going to say it now. And she also says dada. And she tries to grab everything, so now she has to go. I'm going to take her out of the room and be back.
Bye, Nyla.
How old is Mike Jr.?
Mike is 6 months old. Oh, 6 months.
I'm about to say, like, really?
6 weeks old.
He's sweet old?
6 weeks today. Oh, look at him. Hi.
Yeah, he's big.
He's a big.
And he looks like me.
Yeah, he does not look like me, unfortunately.
I don't know who he looks like yet.
Yeah.
That looks like Mike's baby?
Huh?
I'm not that familiar with Mike's face. Maybe he looks like Mike?
No.
But he's still forming. He's still forming.
Yeah, we don't know who he looks like. He has a round face like Mike, I guess.
Like he has Mike's essence.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to talk about like childbirth and like mothers and stuff like that. So like when I think about like becoming a mom, it's always the childbirth part that like scares. Not like so right. It's just like that is always so gory. I can never like watch the videos of like, you know, when people do that.
Yeah.
How are your labor stories?
So
if you got listeners.
I relate to that because I still have not watched the whole Lamaze video of a woman pushing a baby out. I haven't watched it. And I was pregnant and I was so like.
Did you guys videotape?
Fearful. Did I videotape it?
Yeah.
Nah.
No? Okay.
No, absolutely not.
I don't need to see all that. And I mean, I didn't have to push because I had a C-section, emergency C-section. Well, I guess I'll tell a little bit of the labor story. My Nyla was a breech baby, which means that instead of being upside down and ready to come out, she was right side up. So she was sitting on my pelvis, I guess, rather than being flipped upside down. So when I was in labor with her, although I was ready to deliver her, regularly, but her heart rate dropped because she was in distress while my uterus was contracting. So her heart rate dropped. So they had to do an emergency C-section and they got her out and they were like, oh my gosh, she's upside down. So they didn't even know the reason why her heart rate was down was because she was upside down, or right side up, I should say. So I had a C-section and I was very, very, very upset because I was really looking forward to like pushing, and although I was scared to push, I was looking forward to it. But I think 7 months post C-section, I've come to terms with it, but for a very long time, I was very upset, angry at the doctors, even angry at God to some extent, because I really thought like my pregnancy was amazing. I had no complications. The beginning was a little like, you know, you have nausea and you're not feeling well, but my whole pregnancy, I was doing everything. I was running around. Like every time she looked at me, she'd be like, "What's wrong with you? Go sit somewhere." But like I was right. Yeah. I was absolutely normal, and my doctors were like, "Oh, you're gonna do great." Every time I asked questions about C-sections, they're like, "You don't need to worry about that because there's no indications that you will need one, or like because you're perfectly healthy and yada yada yada." But yeah, but long story short, Nyla is healthy. She's great. So I thank God that I'm healthy. I healed well. So I had no complications post-surgery. So yeah, I'm happy with the outcome.
That is definitely different. No.
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna speak life. When I get pregnant, I kind of want to opt for a C-section. Like, can you opt from the beginning for that?
You can.
Right?
Some people do it, and before doing a C-section, I would have never said yes to it. But now that I had one, I'm like, I'm kind of glad that I didn't have to push. So Gigi's joining us, guys. Yay! Let's say hi to Gigi.
Get ready to say hi.
Hi, Gigi.
Hey y'all, what's up?
We're good.
Good.
We're sharing labor stories.
Well, I guess I could give my story, right?
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
well, my pregnancy and labor were completely different than hers. I was actually a high-risk pregnancy. My doctors kept telling me, you're probably gonna have a C-section, you're probably gonna have to be induced. But again, I was pretty healthy during my pregnancy. I wasn't even nauseous. I had no pregnancy symptoms. I was perfectly fine, but I was high risk because I had gestational diabetes while I was pregnant. But instead of being induced, I gave birth naturally 2 weeks early. And I actually had a prayer because Mikhail told me that one of her coworkers slept through her labor.
Yeah.
So I prayed to God that I would sleep through my labor. And I actually did. Mikhail woke me up and I was just like, I think I'm having contractions.
So I woke her up. It was 1:00 in the afternoon. I woke her up. I like phone call because again we don't live near each other. I called her and I'm like, so how are you feeling? Because she had told me, oh, she's gonna clean, she's gonna perm her hair, she's gonna make lasagna. I'm like, okay, sure. Because when I talked to you last night, you sounded like, something was gonna happen. Although she said she was fine, but I could tell she was off from the way she sounded. So by 1:00, when I woke her up, 1:00 in the afternoon, she was like, I'm feeling like my body feels weird. I'm like, what do you mean weird? She's like, it just feels like something's happening, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and I'm like, call your doctor. And as I'm on the phone with her, like 5 minutes into our conversation, she's like, oh, I'm feeling something. And then another 5 minutes passed, so which means that her contractions at that point were 5 minutes apart. So which means she had been laboring in her sleep.
My sleep, like I prayed.
Yeah.
So I called my doctor and I was just like, I think I'm in labor. And he was like, no, you're not due for another 2 weeks. We're supposed to induce you next week. So you're definitely not in labor. And I was just like, okay, bye. So I hung up and I was just like, I'm going back to sleep. So I'm sleeping and I'm like, I really don't feel okay. Like there's something happening. It wasn't pain. It was more like a period cramp kind of. Okay. So I was just like, you know what? Let me call them again because now it's happening like every 4 minutes. So I call and then he was like, fine, since you are feeling kind of weird, just come in. We'll see what's happening.
Was he annoyed?
He was definitely annoyed that I called.
Oh
so
my gosh, that's the thing, right? That like doctors don't believe Black women, like that's like statistically and stuff like that. Yeah.
So Mike was like, so actually this whole time I'm laying down, so I haven't gotten up. So I actually stand up and I'm like, oh my God, this is the craziest pain I've ever felt. It was just like actual labor pain at this point. So Mike, I don't know, he was amazing. I was freaking out, but he was completely calm. He drove me to the hospital. I walk in and I'm talking to the lady at the front desk. At this point, my contractions are like 2 minutes apart. And she was like, this baby's coming out. So I go into they take me up to the labor and delivery. And I don't know, I guess within a couple hours, the baby was out. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I thought I would have to have a C-section because again, I was high risk. I was supposed to be induced. She had a very healthy, no complication pregnancy. She ended up getting a C-section, emergency C-section.
You never know.
Like I think the Bible says, like you can't predict pregnancy, right?
Labor.
You can't predict when the baby's gonna come or how it's gonna come, what's gonna happen.
Well, they say
So-
they said, I think it says like it compares Jesus coming back as in a woman going into labor.
Yeah.
Like how sudden it is and how unpredictable.
Yeah, because I was literally perfectly fine minutes before.
Yeah.
And then,
Lord.
but again, I it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I was as afraid as you, Vicky, and Mikael were, because I was slightly wanting a C-section.
Oh no, yeah,
I wanted a C-section.
Not
But-
slightly.
How many C-sections? What did you guys have?
But like I said, even pushing wasn't that hard for me. It was just literally, I pushed for 40 minutes and the baby was out.
Which is
My pain tolerance is like embarrassingly low, like embarrassingly low. So that's why I don't want to play myself. Like people like, girl,
I mean, I had an epidural, but the epidural didn't kick in because they gave it to me and literally 2 minutes later I was pushing. So it didn't even kick in yet.
How long does it take for that to kick in?
It's supposed to be pretty instantaneous, but like
it depends on how your body. They don't know how your body will.
Yeah, I felt everything.
Yeah.
It's
But
just
like
so
after I
crazy.
finished pushing, that's when I didn't feel anything after. After the baby came out, that's when the epidural started working. But
So many things could happen. God.
yeah, even right after, like I said, everything was fine. But afterwards, I had some complications. But the baby's
By the
healthy.
grace of God, we're all good.
Yeah, the baby's healthy. I'm healthy. Yeah.
Mm.
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
I'm gonna hug my mom tightly tomorrow.
Right.
On
Yeah,
Mother's
it made
Day.
me more appreciative of my mom.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
Have you guys ever heard of a push gift?
Yes.
Did we get one?
No.
Because they don't know about it. That push gift
So Nestor told me.
Like, all the labor pains and stuff, like your husband is supposed to basically, give you like a gift and stuff like that.
He said he was gonna give me a gift. I have yet to see it. So
Oh, he told you about it.
yeah, he told me, he was like, I want to get you something. What would you like? I'm like, whatever you want to give me. Again.
So this is what I wanted to ask you guys. All right. This is practicality out of the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is your desired push gift? I know mine. I've never been pregnant, but I'm like, listen, if I had to go through that, I know exactly what I want.
Ooh, I actually don't know.
Now, I wouldn't want it before the baby. Now that I've had a baby, I would want a vacation. Somehow. But like, I don't know how I would need, because like, yeah, it would have to be a really good tropical vacation.
Mm.
Yeah, I think.
My cousin took his girlfriend. Yeah, my cousin took his girlfriend on vacation. I think it's a push gift, but they had to take the baby. They had to take a baby.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
No.
I mean, for me, I guess we wanted to do a baby moon, but because of COVID, we weren't able to.
Mm-hmm.
What's a baby moon?
A baby moon is like a honeymoon before the baby, but like while you're pregnant in your second trimester, you go on vacation somewhere. Cause like it's the last time it's gonna be just you two. Like it's always gonna be somebody else you gotta worry about. Yeah. So I guess my ideal push gift would be like a night nurse.
Okay. Okay.
Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you always want your push gift to be? I know that's like.
I don't have kids. I don't know, but I'm assuming I would really love to sleep. I'm assuming because I'm like
The night nurse.
That's all I ever hear. Like women like, "Ooh, get your sleep in now." Like it's like, oh, okay. Like
it doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, Mikael and my mom were my night nurses, so that helped.
Yeah.
I already have like 5 Haitian ladies that are already plotting. No fatty more. Already plotting. I already know I'm good.
Yes.
You're gonna need all the help.
Right? Come on through, all the Mollies. Like, please come through.
When you have a baby, whatever help people offer, accept it. Even if you feel like they're doing too much, they're going overboard, take it. You need it.
Six of others.
Yeah.
Shout out to the single moms too.
This is gonna sound
God.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said shout out to the single moms too.
Oh,
For real.
I don't know how they do it because I'm barely managing and I have Mike there 24/7, almost 24/7 when he's not at work. But yeah, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help with the postpartum. Like if you're like by yourself, my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of reminds me of like Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh yeah.
You didn't watch.
No, I didn't.
But like if my husband wanted to ask me what my push gift was gonna be, this is gonna sound so vain, right? But I've had this on my agenda for at least 10 years. I would want to get my boobs done. After I
Listen,
wait.
Yes.
Wait, now that you've said it, that's actually what, yes.
Get my boobs done. Because I already want a reduction. I already make them perfect. Make them perfect.
Yes. And then another thing I would say, I wish I took pictures of my bare breasts because I miss them. They're not the same.
Wow.
And I don't think they'll ever be the same. According to my lactation nurse, she was like, yeah. She was like, look at when I was in the hospital after just delivering now, she's like, well, you have nice breasts. I'm like, thank you. She's like, well, they're never gonna be the same.
Yeah, at least she gave you a warning,
Yeah, well, we're giving you the warning now. Take a picture.
Take a picture so you can admire it at some point.
Yeah, especially if you're breastfeeding or pumping or any of that.
It's a lot. Yeah.
They change.
So they definitely wanted me to get into the topic. I wanted to talk about Children of Men. I know it's not like the most basic motherhood Mother's Day movie, but it definitely does depict like the gift that motherhood does give society or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into it, did you guys keep like the Christian themes of the movie?
I did. Oh man, I saw it so long ago because it came out a long time ago.
It came out like years ago.
But
I didn't watch it recently, so I don't remember. But I feel like now that you've mentioned it, I feel like I kind of remember. But I didn't watch it recently. I meant to, but baby.
Of course, baby's not gonna watch you. So basically, when he first walks into the barn and sees her naked with the pregnant belly, that's supposed to like symbolize like Mary in the manger and like hope and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
I thought that actually, now that you mentioned it, I thought it when I saw it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like it's supposed to represent that. And there are a couple of others, but I remember that one. And also when the child is born and everybody's like quiet, it's supposed to symbolize like how like hopeful like this child is supposed to like represent. Like, it's supposed to like quiet the destruction and stuff like that. Like how God is giving you hope.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was also like kind of like holy. Like it's like once the baby came, it was like you said, everything just stopped. Like all of the fighting, all of the mayhem. It was like the baby was just like a new beginning in that moment or in that scene.
Yeah, because like life is restarting again. What did you guys think about Key, the mom? What did you guys think about her as a character?
She was tough.
Yeah, I think she was. I think she didn't understand the gravity of her situation, like for a lot of it. Because I mean, clearly she was young.
Clear about it, right?
Yeah, she was super young, so she
didn't even technically want kids. Like she was just like chilling, living her life, and then she was like, I had this baby,
I think the guy asked her, oh, what's the dad's name? And she was like, I don't know their names. I was like, okay, girl. I was like, all right. But I did like how like she was really I don't know what the word is, but particular with who she trusted with her baby. Like she wasn't just like, oh yeah, let me just go with everyone, but like you know, she trusted that woman, and she was like, the lady told me to trust you and no one else. Like she was very like adamant about like protecting her baby.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, once she had her child, she transformed into like this. She felt the weight of, I'm responsible for this. Like, because she was protecting her baby the whole time. Like, after she had this baby, she was holding on to it for dear life. So I thought, yeah, it's very sad. It's a very sad movie, but it also shows the beauty in what gift it is to have, to be able to reproduce, like to have children. Like if we as human beings, if we are the last generation and we can't have any kids any longer, like what's the point of doing things for the future? What's the point of taking care of the planet or taking care of your body or trying to be healthy or even trying to be a moral person?
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So apparently, Key is supposed to represent like the feminist critique on like reproductive rights. So it was a stretch. Like I was watching this video on it and I was like, oh, I see where she's going with it. So basically, she is a woman, right, who experiences the miracle of childbirth, whether or not she asked for it or not. Like the baby could have been deemed as an accident or right, but they treat her not as like a mother, they treat her as like a machine. She doesn't have like autonomy of her own decisions, what happens to her, what happens to her baby. Like it's like you have to produce this child for the good of society. It's not about you and your own personal life anymore. It's about us. Right. So that's like the feminist critique about like, you know, pro-choice, pro-life and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely can see that because once the baby, because it's not like a random baby. Once the baby is born, that's the future. That's our future. That's everyone's future. So yeah, she definitely lost herself in the mix of everything.
Especially because she had a baby girl too. Because now it's like you had a baby girl, so
That
now
can
your
reproduce,
girl can have
yeah.
it wasn't a boy.
Oh, yeah, I would say for me too, like, well, one of the messages I'm getting it from it is like, you know, like in the movie, obviously it was a miracle because that was like the only baby, but like it's a miracle for us too. Like I think we need to really like, you know, I guess redefine how we think of miracles because I think we always think of like, you know, like moving a mountain or like I don't know something crazy, but it's like there's miracles every day. We just kind of get used to them, I guess. And so that definition isn't as potent as it should be.
Yeah. Giving birth is and actually seeing the baby because I remember because I had a lot of ultrasounds during my pregnancy. I think my first one was at 8 weeks or 9 weeks. And I had one ultrasound every month, just watching like literally this little thing grow into
like a dot.
Literally grow into a human. Cause like when you see the first thing, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know what that is. I had no. It was just like, okay, I don't know, just a little thing.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And then like every month, like you actually see it transform into a person. And I was just like, that's amazing. And then when he actually came out and I looked at him, I was like, what? It's a person.
Like aliens.
It's an absolute miracle.
Yeah, I remember when because again of COVID, I didn't have regular doctor's visits. But in the beginning, so like February was my first, end of January, February was my first ultrasound at 8 weeks or so. And I saw this little thing. It was like a little crescent shape with little arms and legs. And it was like this. It wasn't even fingers. It was just, it looked like a little frog. And so that was my ultrasound at 8 weeks. And then I didn't get to have another ultrasound until I was like 21 or 22 weeks. And then I saw Nyla when she was born. So it's, it is mind blowing. Or even to see the body, like how your belly expands so big. and then it goes back to being small, and it's like, how
You
does
grow
that
an
make
organ? You grow a whole organ.
Yeah, the
for a baby.
placenta. Yeah, I didn't want to see my placenta. But
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, you grow a whole separate organ just for your baby.
yeah.
Mm.
And you like, did you guys do anything with your placentas? Like, it's already.
That's all I did. That's all I did. I looked at it.
I didn't look at it. I didn't want to see it.
It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
People talk about eating that all the time, and I'm just like, all right.
Oh,
Not if you look at
the
it.
doctors asked, "Do you want your placenta?" I was like I felt so appalled by, why would you ask me if I want? They're like, well, some people want it. I don't. Please keep it.
Yeah, I know some people do the encapsulation of it.
Yeah.
It's like an art piece, but
There's some people who make the pillows, and some people make the patties.
It was very gross, so I would never do anything with it. I was like, nope, throw it out.
I don't want to judge anyone, but that sounds like borderline. Well, I won't say it.
No.
Like Wiccan?
Cannibalism.
Oh, eating it?
You are eating yourself.
I mean, so cannibalism.
Yeah.
I mean, I could understand if you, I don't know, maybe want to keep it like as a souvenir.
No, keeping it, yeah. Not
Keeping
eating
it, I understand.
Not eating.
I would eat it. If I kept it, I would like find use for it. I'm not saying I want to eat it or I would eat it, but if the opportunity, I would like contemplate it. Yeah, why not?
All power to you.
There was this one story. I think my college professor told me this, or some white man. I don't remember. I have to like think about it. He was saying how he knew this woman who turned them into patties and then fed them to like a party of hers.
And wait, so nobody was aware of this?
I think she said afterwards. Either she like made it known beforehand or afterwards. I don't know. But I was like, that was the first time I heard it being turned into a patty. I was like, what? These white people are doing what? Doing what?
If she didn't tell me before that, I would have sued her. I would have sued her for like, I'm gonna sue you and the baby.
So gross.
Oh no.
No, but it looks like an organ. So it's not. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like liver, like liver or something.
It's like a jiggly piece of
it looks
red with like the picture that I saw.
Mike
it had like black.
Oh
yeah, Mike has offered me to see her placenta.
Mike took a picture of it.
You could keep that.
How does one act that without sounding creepy? Hey.
No, Mike was like, no, they showed us like after I gave birth, like I was just talking to, I don't know, like I literally, it's like I know how bad the pain is and how weird it is to give birth, but afterwards it's like you've gone through such a big thing that like I was just talking to the nurses and doctors, like nothing just happened. Like I didn't just push a baby out. And then they were like, oh, do you want to see the placenta? It was just like so normal to just, Mike's like, oh yeah, let me take my camera out and snap a pic. And I'm just like, huh?
I mean, that's how I think when Nyla came out and she cried, they were like, oh my gosh, because they were expecting her to be in respiratory distress, but she cried right away. And they were like, she's beautiful. Oh my gosh, her hair. And they handed her to Neskin because I couldn't hold her. And the doctors were like, where are your phones? Where are your phones? Like 6 pictures. And so they took pictures of him, pictures of me, like, and they just carry on. And meanwhile, my stomach is still open. They haven't sewn me up yet. Like,
it's just,
but the surgeon is like, because I think they're doing their job, but they're trying to, I don't know,
calm you down
and keep you.
I didn't realize that you're awake during a C-section, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't feel anything if you're well anesthetized. So they put a curtain up so you can't see anything.
Okay. They just boom through the baby.
Like, he stood up, like he stood like trying to stand up. They're like a couple of times when Nyla cried, like he was like, and he cried. I was like, oh, I only saw him cry at our wedding when I walked down the aisle, and then
Wow.
I never saw him cry besides that.
Aww.
And I was like, oh, I guess this was nice. But I
I guess this was nice.
but I think I was like, because like you're on the medication and you're not all there, especially with all the pain of labor. Like, but once you have the baby, you literally, like, I know at one point I felt like I was gonna die because of the pain. That's how bad it was. But I can't quantify. I can't remember how bad it was. Like, it's not like when I think back, I'm like, oh, trauma. Like, there's no trauma in thinking back on how painful it was because you literally can't remember the pain.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Like, you forget what you just went through.
Yeah, it's super weird. Because I remember, like, it was the pain. Like I said, I slept through most of the labor, so I didn't have a lot of pain for a long time. So, but like right before the birth was like my highest, like the worst that I felt it. And it's like the minute they handed me the baby, I held him, and I was just like, it's like literally it just went away.
Nice. Yeah, it's like, oh,
yeah, it's like I could do this. I'm not gonna do it again, but I could do this again.
I would like to do it again.
Yeah, and I also don't cry. It was the first time I've ever cried from happiness, I think. Like when they handed it to me.
I wish I had a picture of it.
I don't cry ever. Like they handed it to me, I was just like, ah! And Mike was like, are you crying?
What's going on? I don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't cry from being happy ever. This was the first time I was just like, wow, okay.
I'm an easy crier and I didn't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't cry when I saw her. I was like, oh, cool, my daughter, yay.
You're out of it.
Yeah, and I was like, the first thing I said, I was like, oh my gosh, she looks like Neskin. And then I was like, oh, she has dimples, yay! Because she smiles. Yeah.
So when they gave him, I was just like, this baby looks nothing like me.
Yeah, he was very yellow.
Yeah, he was super yellow. I was just like,
he was so Asian. I was like, what?
Yeah, and his eyes, and I'm just like, what is this? This is like, who gave birth to this baby? Yeah, his face is changing now.
I think I look like 3 different family members when I was first born. I'm starting to think that my parents are just showing me random pictures of babies. I'm like, who is this? Is still me? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I only thought I was a boy. So like there are some newborn pictures of me in like baseball gear and like I look like a little young boy.
That's funny.
I'm like, who is this?
Oh, I'm happy your parents didn't have any like gender identity, roles. Like they just put you in baseball clothes.
We don't have any other clothes. Put that baby in.
Oh, well, never mind. I thought it was just like a act of like liberation. Like she can be whatever she wants.
No, I'm not putting. I don't care. Put something on that.
Our baby brother. So for my mom's baby shower, they gave her some pink clothes. She put those on my brother.
I mean,
like,
like, oh, I feel some type of way.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm transforming.
Yeah.
Right. Who cares?
So, did you guys have anything?
He actually looked like a girl too when he was born.
What happened?
No, I said he actually looked like a girl when he was born. So when he put those pink clothes on, I was like, oh no, he looks like a girl.
You an Emmanuel or just like Emmanuel, right? Yeah. Because he has like the almond eyes. You guys have like almond eye traits in your family. That's probably why my junior has.
He has the same eyes as Emmanuel. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and Mikhail. Yeah, Mikhail.
Yeah, well, not Asian, almond eyes.
Yeah, almond.
Yeah. Oh man, this chair. See, this is another thing with labor. Like with after having it, like my back is killing me today. But the joys of
the sacrifice, but the miracle of birth.
Yeah, right.
You can always like hold that over their heads. Like my back still hurt from that. So do you guys have anything else to add?
Oh, and the movie, I did like how everyone was very like self-sacrificial, like for the baby. Like everyone it was like everyone, it was like that last piece that everyone needed to give in order for the baby to like make it. It's like everyone definitely gave themselves, like just sacrificed themselves. Like I remember, I think one of the ladies just like got hit like randomly in the head for something, like just for to make a distraction so that nobody could tell that she was pregnant. And then even to the end, the guy dies on the boat. So spoiler alert, sorry.
Everybody dies in that movie.
Yeah, just for the baby. So that was kind of interesting.
But I feel like that death is like the death for new life is a little bit like more hopeful, because at least you're not just dying for no reason. You're dying for
bigger than you.
Society.
Right. It's your life was like bigger than yours. It was to like for life to keep going. Yeah. So that was good.
I'd recommend watching the movie if you want to check it out. It's on Peacock for free, and it's streaming on Amazon, but I think you have to rent it from Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could watch on Amazon Prime, I think. Right?
I think it was like
You gotta pay.
Oh, oops, sorry, I'm lying.
The director, I think he was saying that the scariest type of dystopian that we can have is some like a dystopian is like a scary type of future. The scariest type of future that we can have is one that we're already kind of living or whatever, right? And I felt like he said that because we already, not that like no one's infertile, like everybody's infertile, not like that, but like I feel like maybe he meant that as we already kind of police people's bodies. I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know.
I think, especially now during the pandemic, I was reading an article how this 2020 had the least amount of births ever since they've been recording births.
And I would have thought mad people would have got pregnant because of the quarantine.
I thought it was too, because I got pregnant.
Yeah, I know a couple people that got pregnant.
Everybody gonna get pregnant.
No, apparently, yeah. The birth rate it's been declining a lot over the years, but 2020 has been the lowest. So it is a little bit scary to think that my baby's like kindergarten class is gonna be super small compared to other previous generations. Yeah, it's definitely a little scary. And when you think about like countries like Japan where people aren't having kids anymore.
That's true. But at least that's like kind of their choice. It's not like
it's a choice, but it's also a choice I feel like is being forced upon us just because of the way that life is. Like people aren't having kids not because they don't want to. A lot of times it's because they can't afford it. Like cost of living is high. All careers are demanding. So it's a lot.
Oh, we should do an episode on that.
Careers,
what motherhood means for
it's a lot.
Career women.
Oh yes. Make this a whole Mother's Day series.
Yeah.
I wanted to either talk about this, like infertility and the miracle of birth, or talk about like Vicky Scott, all the moms that had to lose their children due to like racism last year alone. Like it was a lot,
Yes. Especially the fact that I have a Black son. It's scary. Super scary.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a series is coming. Working mom, moms of Black sons, all that.
It's a lot. We Black people, we're resilient. And Gigi, in the video that you sent me with T.D. Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes, he talked about, when I sit here as a Black man, I sit here with the weight of my ancestors on me. So to think about all that we have been through as a people, we are resilient, we're strong. And for us to still be alive and well and smiling and still hopeful and joyful and thriving, not just surviving. We are a special people. So
so definitely appreciate life.
For sure.
Definitely. All right, so I guess that's it. This was a good talk. Love the insight, love the stories.
Happy Mother's Day to all mamas.
Thank
mamas.
you. Yes, happy Mother's Day from A Word at the Table.
And this is A Word at the Table.
Thanks for joining. Comment, subscribe, share.
Yes.
All of that.
Insight too, you know.
What'd you say?
I said, give us insight too, if you guys, words that you want to have at the table and stuff like that.
I like
Right?
that.
Well, I was trying to make it.
Yeah.
Play on word.
Right?
I see what you did there. I see what you did.